Traveling Trev, traveling Trev, vroom, 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 traveling Trev. It was a bright sunny day on an island, and there was a little monkey crawling up the tree, and there was an ant on that tree also, and then bigger gorillas, and also, in a further village, across the world, there was a guy. He was drumming in a place. That's when this happened. There was these aliens that showed up. We all kind of saw it coming, but at one point they just swooped down in droves, just like this, okay? I'm not sure right now if this is prehistory or anyway. There was these guys, and one of them was like, "I don't think we should do this," but there were those guys like, "Oh, maybe just let's do it, let's do it." And then so they were down in the cities, and at this point, the people knew. Those who had been, putting the tinfoil hats on their heads, they were like, "Yeah, I saw this shit coming." Ah, son of a gun! And then even just people who were just celebrating, just people who were dancing, listening to their Walkmans, they were dancing, and all of a sudden it was like,
Come over here.
let's do it. No, don't do it, please. Okay, let's. I always have the last say. And it was, it was a lot to deal with. We're learning to grieve. We're all learning to grieve together. I'm not even sure if it was just the government who told us this happened or what, but anyway, something. Thank God these guys are still drumming. They're still going. This guy, I don't even know how. I guess he must have been in a bunker or something. He was down. That's a bunker drummer. It happens. That might be like an oligarch's son. Anyway, drumming continues all over the world. That's the idea. Is we want to get out of our basements and be like, look, we're gonna drum. Look, some people didn't handle any of this well. That's the truth. Is some people made something out of it that they never should. And then, as Douglas Adams told us, the dolphins were like, "Thanks for the fish. We're out of here." Okay, we can't really tell if this is created by AI. We don't really know if this is real yet or not. So if the dolphins give you a chance, you may as well just go with them, okay? If you've got a chance to sing, to play, to make somebody's life better through music, go ahead and do that. If you my life is a cautionary tale. So much I didn't know. So much I didn't know. Traveling Trev, traveling Trev, vroom, 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 traveling Trev.
As a kid, I always had a really difficult time fielding a hot grounder for fear that the ball was going to jump up and hit me in the face. And when Darren Andrews started pitching that ball up at around 50 or 60 miles per hour in 4th grade, I no longer wanted to stand in that batter's box. Heights are a problem for me too. Those of us who free solo those mountain faces, hundreds, thousands of feet above the ground, those folks are true gurus to me. I cannot imagine the discipline that it must take to trust one's body and mind on such a precarious perch. In football, I was equally useless. I got caught in the backfield after I'd received a reverse. It was Scott Sedgwick that day who took me down so hard that I literally saw stars. It took some time to find my breath. I have a friend, Brian. He's a wrestler, a star wrestler in school, and now his kids have carried on with the tradition. Combat sports, he calls it. I have great respect for the combat sport guys. I like to watch the diverse and many ways that a human might choose to enter into the combat arena. Some of us choose blustery arrogance, and it seems to work sometimes. Some of us choose calm humility. I never really developed a healthy sense of competition as a young person. At some point in my development, I realized that I wasn't competing because I was afraid of losing or looking dumb or weak. With that knowledge of myself, I began to engage more fully. I found things that I wanted, and I went after them more. that process left me learning to deal with disappointment. Turns out I was given a lot of things, and I never properly learned how to pursue the things I wanted. I had a lot of natural talent and even sometimes charisma. That charisma opened a lot of doors, but there was a toughness that I had neglected in myself. This lack of toughness and mental discipline, low pain tolerance, and a victimization complex all added up to a lot of suffering. I beat myself up for years like this, and I did a lot of things to try to learn from those people who seemed to me to have the toughness that I felt like I lacked. I found myself working on a freight dock among strong men and clanging metal. I studied under Dan Clark, my ex-father-in-law, a man who grew up eating tough for breakfast. I went to Army basic training, I went to the police academy, I got 2 college degrees. My own father, when I was young, tried to teach me to be tough too. In fact, my lack of toughness seemed to be a point of shame for him. I can understand why. As I said before, it's all understandable. I can get pretty hard on myself sometimes, like I said. While it may seem that I'm not quite tough enough, it may be that I am just a highly sensitive person. We all know that pain is a purely subjective experience. In other words, pain is all in our mind. Is it possible that people who have a high pain tolerance are just not feeling the pain? My work as a licensed physical therapist assistant in the state of New Mexico has prompted a lot of thought on this subject of pain and sensitivity and our response to pain stimulus. I've read that emotional pain and physical pain register very similarly in our brains. My friend, Brian, the star wrestler, he was the one who first told me that pain was an illusion. This wasn't just a belief that he was trying to impart to me. This statement was born from moments when he had to push through the pain and all the fear responses that pain brings about. Have you ever done something that intentionally brought pain or discomfort into your life? Have you ever immersed yourself in a cold stream or a cold shower? Have you ever stepped away from the security of warmth, even if just for a moment? Have you stepped away with intention? Exercise is like this to us a lot. We say pain is weakness leaving the body. Brian, the wrestler, he had discovered for himself that victory was what his pain was hiding. And he knew that he was a victor. And so he saw through that pain, and also through defeat, and into his victory. When Brian saw stars in the backfield, he got right up and went back to the huddle.
Traveling trail, traveling trail, vroom, 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 traveling trail.
On November 23rd, I posted a video called Travelin' Trav, Henry David Thoreau's Quiet Desperation. Thoreau says, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. From the desperate city, you go into the desperate country and have to console yourself with the bravery of minks and muskrats. A stereotype but unconscious despair is concealed even under what are called the games and amusements of mankind. There is no play in them, for this comes after work. But it is characteristic of wisdom not to do desperate things." It was on September 21st of 2022 that I turned to my practice. It is now this practice which must sustain me, for it is my devotion to this practice which grounds me to loving reality. Travis has exhausted himself countless times in the paid work environment. He has been employed in a wide range of activities. He has devoted himself to the learning process in every situation in which he has found himself. He has given himself to the teachings of the armed forces and the police. He has earned 2 college degrees, one of which gained him the privilege of practicing in the institutionalized healing art of physical therapy. I've done blue-collar labor. I've done white-collar labor. I dug ditches. I've taught in classrooms. I've plowed fields. I've operated a forklift, a backhoe, and a dump truck. I've been a maintenance man and a carpenter's assistant. I've worked in music stores. I played music in bars and on the streets as a licensed street performer. I am immensely grateful for all of this experience and everything that I have learned from all of this. Thanks to all of you who have invested so much into my personal progression. As I mentioned before, when I was in Argentina, I discovered in myself a sick, sad, pitiful, and compromised man. This vision of how I had been presenting myself in this world was truly an awakening. You may see in my videos after March of 2022 a theme. I was making a stand against the shame that I thought was love.
People rise, dream of the day when the people rise, people rising up. People rise, dream of the day, rising up in love. Yeah. Ooh, dream of a day when the people rise in love. People rise, dream of the day when the people rise in love. Ooh, people rise up. The people rise up.